Well, Congress is back in session after its month-long summer recess. Lawmakers are already facing a deadline of September 30th to avoid a government shutdown. With 4 weeks to go, it's likely Congress will need to pass a short-term spending bill to keep the government funded. But even with that showdown and the shutdown battle on the horizon, possibly, lawmakers have several other items high on the agenda as they get back to work. CBS News congressional correspondent Caitlin Huey-Burns joins us now with more on that. Caitlin, so let's talk about what's on the agenda for Congress. Some lawmakers are obviously demanding the full release of the Epstein files, but where do those efforts stand?
Yeah, Jerika, actually, just in the past few minutes, we just got the release from the House Oversight Committee of 33,000 pages. 33,000 pages of documents related to the Epstein files. These were released by the DOJ, and the Oversight Committee has their hands on them, and they are combing through, as will our gracious team of reporters back in our Washington bureau, combing through all of these documents to see what they say. Now, the question I have is whether this quells any of the appetites among lawmakers up here for the further release of further files. We had just today a discharge petition filed by a Republican and a Democratic members of the House to try to force Speaker Johnson's hand here and get a vote on releasing more documents. So basically, in order to do that, they have to get 218 signatures. They have about 212 Democrats. They'll need a handful of Republicans. So the Oversight Committee releasing these documents remains to be seen whether that satisfies the demands of some Republicans for more information here. But that is what we know at this point. We don't know exactly what's in them, but the release is hoping to do what Republicans had hoped would happen over recess, which was to kind of let this story die down and those upset about it be upset about it. But I will say, Jerika, today, House Speaker Mike Johnson had victims of Jeffrey Epstein into his office today to meet with them, to talk to them about what they want to see.
Wow, very interesting that just happened. So I'm sure we'll be talking about this in the coming hours and days. President Trump is also urging Congress, Caitlin, to extend the federal takeover of the D.C. police. Is that likely?
It looks, at least at this point, Jerika, to be unlikely. Remember, he was able to deploy the National Guard through his executive powers, but if he wants to extend their service here, he's going to need sign-off from Congress. On the House side, you could see support, especially among Republicans, to get something like that passed. On the Senate side, however, you're going to need at least 6 or 7 Democrats to come on board and support that kind of thing, and that is not something that we have heard from any Democrat that they are willing to do. In fact, they have been highly critical of the president's use of the National Guard in Washington, D.C., even though some Republicans have been on board. So highly unlikely. The question is, in what form does that take? Do they even take it up for a vote or use it for any leverage points for other items that they have to address?
All right, Caitlin Huey-Burns on Capitol Hill for us today. Thank you.